Hey, what's up? This is Prince Paul, and you are checking out 11 O'Clock Comics.
Yeah.
You didn't even rehearse for that one, and you got it. Yeah, dry run. Y'all chafed? You all right?
Oh, yeah. No,
Oh, yeah. Oi.
Hervey.
Y'all quiet. You better stop it. I'm not dealing with that.
You good, bro?
Yeah, I'm good.
Just want to see how long it would take you.
No, I'm feeling good.
Feeling good?
Best day of the week, whenever it falls. It's been variable these days, these weeks. But whenever it falls, it's the best day of the week. You know why?
Why?
Because this is 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 970. And I'm Vince B.
You are Vince B. I am David A. Price.
Indeed you are, and of course, I'm Steve Lytle.
Oh.
You're not Steve Lytle.
Oh, my heart.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
When did he die?
2021. I think he died of COVID, actually.
Wow, yeah. So the only one that's of the principals that are still alive on that book you read is Levitz.
No, Giffin's alive.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Oh, no, you're right. Oh,
Yeah, no, Giffen died.
Damn, that's right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you're not Steve Lytle. You're Jason Wood, everybody. Here today, thanks to cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Break it up, compound word. Cheapgraphicnovels.com have everything you want in book form. Whether it's an OGN, a manga, a omnibus edition, a trade paperback collection like the one Jason read, an art book, all that stuff. CheapGraphicNovels.com has it for a fraction of what you're going to pay elsewhere. Massive discounts, but get this. If you're a first-time customer, here's what you do. Order something small. You'll receive an email confirmation thanking you from ordering from CheapGraphicNovels.com. You're going to reply to that email and say, Max, you know what? I would never have known about this place if not for 11 O'Clock Comics. And Max is going to wave that magic wand of savings. He's going to jigger it up in the air and hit you on the forehead, and you are going to get free shipping on your next order. Savings on top of savings with even more savings. Why? Because they have specials.
Oof, they do have specials. And this week I think Vince may be very happy. First we have DC Finest Harley Quinn Birth of the Mirth. $23.99 collects a whole slew of comics. Action Comics, Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, Batman Adventures, Azrael, Agents of the Bat, some Batman, some Detective Comics, some Catwoman, Harley Quinn numbers 1 through 8. So a good chunk of stories there. Prez by Mark Russell and Ben Caldwell, the deluxe edition hardcover. This is $20.99. It's 2046, and America has just elected its first teenage president. Oregon teen Beth Ross has just been elected President of the United States of America. Age restrictions were abolished when corporations gained the right to run for office. This collects by the Eisner-winning writer Mark Russell and artist Ben Caldwell. Prez numbers 1 through 6 and a short from Catwoman Election Night number 1, as well as a brand new short story. Strange Girl, 20th Anniversary Deluxe Edition hardcover, $41.99, 10 years after the rapture. A beautiful occultist and her pet demon embark on a road trip to the last open gateway to heaven in hopes of befriending God and escaping hell on earth. Strange Girl is a story about the bewildering nature of religion, what would happen if the dark future predicted by many came true, and what a good person would endure for not having faith in advance of it. From New York Times best-selling writer-creator Rick Remender, alongside powerhouse artist Eric Nguyen, Jerome Pena, and Peter Bergenting. This collects Strange Girl numbers 1 through 19. And the last two are a Ronin 1-2 Punch. Ronin Rising Collector's Edition hardcover, $32. This is Hall of Famer Frank Miller's Ronin, which is cited as the inspiration for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Samurai Jack. Now, 40 years later, Miller, with the team Philip Tan and Daniel Henriquez, returns to the world of Ronin, continuing his story for a new generation. We got so Tan and Henriquez provided pencils and inks for chapters 1, 2, 3, and 5. Of course, Miller himself drawing chapters 4 and 6. This exclusive collector's edition includes a new cover by Miller, a foreword by the legendary Jim Lee, Frank Miller's never-before-seen layouts for issues 2 to 5, concept designs by Philip Tan, and all 6 full-page wraparound variant covers. And finally, Ronin Rising graphic novel manga edition, $10.39, the manga edition of the long-awaited sequel to the award-winning classic Ronin by Frank Miller, which is basically an affordable manga edition which pays homage to Frank Miller's inspirations for the original Ronin, appealing to Frank Miller fans and manga readers alike.
So you get an edition that's too big, and you get an edition that's too small.
Yes. Where you can just live with the beautiful 6 issues.
Yeah.
Like Goldilocks.
That Strange Girl, I have all those issues library bound from the
I remember that, yeah.
James Jasek, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have an absolute edition type of hardcover of that, omnibus of that.
In fact, it contains... no, that's another volume. I have a Rick Remender horror volume that has Triple X Zombies,
Nice.
Sorrow, and Sea of Red.
Oh, yeah.
Love them. Remender does really good horror. I wish he would.
It's been a minute since he's
it
done
has
horror,
been
yeah.
a minute. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I am drinking,
Ooh.
I'm shocked.
and I'm only having one. When you hear this thing, you'll be like, "Yeah, I don't think you should have more than one." This is from
Adroit.
Okay.
It's from the Adroit Theory Brewing Company, Purcellville, Virginia. It is called Capture the Afterlife, a West Coast style Imperial India Pale Ale. It's a Arpus and Adroit Theory collaboration. The can is littered with Polaroids of ghosts. They're ghost photos, and they're scattered on Polaroids. But here's the problem. This is a pint.
Oh, nice.
And it's 10.2% alcohol. So, yeah, I'm just having one. I had another one, but this is also from
Adroit.
And it's a collab with Kettlehead. This is called Original Gravity 1.101. This is a quadruple India Pale Ale. Also a
Good
pint.
Lord.
Yeah, also a pint.
Jesus fuck.
But the alcohol's 12.5%. And I'm like, no, can't do it. Nah, I'll be super stupid. I'm going to be stupid with this just afterlife stuff.
Especially with all that bread, yeah.
Yeah.
Adroit.
Thank you.
Coming handy. Well, see, so now whenever you go on vacation, you've got to fill in. I don't need to produce.
Well, here's the thing. I thought I knew how to pronounce it, so I'm like, it's Adroit, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, maybe it's not Adroit. So I had
Is it though?
I searched it, and it is Adroit, and I thought, well, I'll just use the sound sample. Why not? That's how I roll. Adroit.
Well, we should add
Adroit.
that to the Metro sound.
Adroit.
I am Adroit. That's me.
Nice.
Yeah. What do you got, Jason?
Kind of bubbly we got, Jason.
I am actually also drinking.
Look at you.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I am having a glass of Chianti. Nice bottle of Chianti. From the. It is from Tuscany.
Yes,
It
my
is,
people.
That's your people's. Yes, I know. Now, you'd be excited. It is I Domi from. I believe it's Veroni is the vineyard. It's Idomi Chianti Rufina 2022. And for those wondering, it's a ripe red berry, culinary spice, rosemary, blue flower aroma, and comes to the forefront along with a little bit of new leather, cultivated grapes, mostly Sangiovese. It's elegantly structured, featuring succulent Morello cherry, blackberry, and star anise, before closing with a hint of bitter orange.
Wow. It sounds good, actually.
It is good. It is good. It's not as good as the one I had a couple weeks back, but it's very good.
Yeah,
I'm pleased with it.
I'm happy.
No suckling rating on this one.
There is. It's an 89 versus the 98 of the one I had the other.
He's all about the ratings. It's like an end of the year list, right?
Yeah,
It's exactly
that's
the
right.
same thing. Yeah, 100%.
He's got to check. He's got to check his spreadsheet for other
Gotta
wine.
have data. Gotta have data.
Yes.
Data.
Good lord.
Yeah.
Don't believe the hype.
This is actually this is something that the Minion gifted me. Shit. Oh God, years ago. This is 914 from Westchester, New York. It's a bourbon whiskey, small batch. It was aged 35 months before bottled. It the wood type, number 4 char New American oak. This was bottled in September, of 2019. And
Jesus.
it's a
God.
What?
He burped and it sounded like there was chunks in it.
no, it was wild. But yeah, this is a distillery in Westchester, over by the over around the Portchester section, so kind of by the New York Connecticut border. But yeah, it's
A local vendor.
Yes, and
Neat.
it's not as like corn forward as a lot of the New York whiskeys tend to be. So this is one of my rather enjoyable ones.
Excellent. I'm going first.
Oh, please do.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Well,
God forbid.
I'm going. You always go first, Jason. Don't be giving me this rigmarole.
First, okay. First of all, I don't always go first. Second of all, I only go
It's
first
usually
because you say go. We go, Jason. We've read. And I'm like,
Number
okay,
one, I don't
okay.
speak that way, but that's okay. Maybe you
You
think
do.
I do.
It's okay.
My top lip never touches the bottom of my nose, so there we go. But anyway,
my God.
the reason why I want to go
I want to talk
first.
about manga.
No, it's not manga. We can save that for the end because
No.
it's awesome.
No, I'm saying you're the only time your lip quivers like that is when you want to make sure you school us on manga.
Yes. I'm going to school Jason on this one because although I know you've read this, Dap, this is a book that I think Jason is going to love.
Okay. I'm
Because
intrigued.
it's personal. But I'll tell you why at the very end. Okay?
Okay.
It's written by James Tynion IV and Steve Fox. It's illustrated by the great Peter Kowalski, who he has to have like 4 arms. He's got to have 4 arms.
I never stopped.
I
know
seems
he's
to
like
look
he's like the Polish Hayden Sherman.
Yeah.
The
I think is he Polish?
I was pleasantly surprised to see that he was the artist on.
Yeah, and
I
it's
didn't realize that one.
perfect because the color art is by Brad Simpson. It is a true weird story. That's the banner on this book, a true weird story, and it's called "Let This One Be a Devil." Number 1. So you say to me, Peter Kowalski's doing folk horror? That is a match made in hell, in Sussex. It's something that's going to warm my heart. Peter Kowalski doing folk horror, Jason. Two things I love very, very much.
Yep.
It begins in 1909. So it's a period piece, and it even gets more steeped in history. But let me just start. 1909, okay? Mm-hmm. You got the Naughton family. Naughton family's broken because Dad died in an accident at the factory at which he worked. Okay? Mm-hmm. That leaves his wife Polly and their 2 sons, Henry and his younger brother Roy, kind of fucked, right? Kind of adrift. Mm-hmm. In 1909, if the breadwinner is removed, what does mom and the kids do, right? They have to fend for themselves, But there's strife between Henry and Roy. It seems that Roy doesn't cotton to Henry's big city book learning and his chosen profession, which is writing. Young Roy plans to take the bull by the horns and get a job at the very factory that took his father. And that's a notion that Henry finds preposterous. Why would you work for the man? Why would do something creative with you? I mean, Henry's a forward thinker, and Roy is very pragmatic. even though he's younger. He just wants to solve the problem of them needing money. And so what does he do? I'm going to just get a job at the factory. It's what everybody else is doing. That's what I'm going to do. But that's not where it gets weird. That's just the canvas on which this very surreal and dark tale is painted, because something stirs up trouble in the Naughtons' chicken coop one night. And so Polly's like, Henry, go check that shit out. And when Henry checks it out, it's not the fox or the dog that he expected. There's this huge thing, massive, hunched over, ripping apart chickens. It has goat horns, bat wings, and it's freaking hungry. It's rah. And Henry, the thing just flies away. It flits on a tree and just flies with these giant wings. And the family does not believe Henry when he tells the tale. He's like, that was not a fox. I'm telling you, it was not a fox. And when he surveys the scene the next day, there's these large, really deep scratches buried in the tree bark. And Henry's convinced that what he saw was far from a dog or a fox. This thing was not of this plane of existence, right? So then the narrative takes a leap back to 1735, Jason.
Okay.
Where it centers on the Leeds family. The Leeds family. Mrs. Leeds is enduring a horrific labor. Her 13th, to be exact. She has given birth, poor woman, to 12 kids. And it's a difficult labor. There's so much blood, and she's in excruciating pain. And it gets to the point where she's like, she curses the child, and she screams the very title of this series. Let this one be a devil. Unfortunately, Mrs. Leeds gets her wish, because the child, which is the way Kowalski composes the panels, you don't really get to see too much of the child. Maybe a leg hanging out of the blanket, and then the leg kind of turns a little crusty, and it goes from pale, innocent child flesh to this red mottled skin. But the handmaiden or the attendant gets so scared she drops the kid, and Mr. Leeds like, you stupid, what the fuck did you just do? And they show the baby on the ground, and it has a long coiled spiky tail, very much like that of a devil. So Jason, we have a geographic location. I didn't tell you initially, but I'm going to now.
Devil.
It's the Jersey Devil.
Yeah, I know
it's South Jersey, an area known as the Pines, the Pine Barrens.
Pine Barrens.
Yes.
Yeah, Pine Barrens.
We have a devil born to the Leeds family. The Leeds Devil is another name for what? The Jersey Devil. This is a story about the Jersey Devil.
That's awesome. I'll definitely read it. We went to the Pine Barrens a bunch of times over the years.
It's a creepy fucking place. Yeah. It is. I've been there a number of times as well. It is just, there's something very different. That's why I said Sussex in the beginning, because Sussex is one of those places that's just, it's odd. It's weird. It doesn't.
It's got sus in the name.
It's sus. It does. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. Yeah, that's why we predicted the use of the colloquialism sus. So we're gonna, but anyway, it's a great story, and I think just Kowalski just chews up the visual real estate. Like, he's a monster, man. And but that's not all. You get a backup story, and I really hesitate to call it a backup story because it's pretty chunky story. It is called Shattered and Shook. You know who wrote this? Rachel Deering.
Oh, well, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, well, she's still doing stuff. Letterer and writer and a whole bunch of stuff. The art's by Jesse Lonergan.
There you go.
Who's Lonergan, who's looking a little bit like William Messner Loebs here. I think it looks a lot like William Messner Loebs. It's a story about an older couple.
Yeah,
you think so?
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. There's this older couple that's plagued by ghosts of the destructive kind. They knock shit over and they break shit, and the older couple moves and the ghosts kind of follow. And enter Dr. William Roll from Duke University, and he has stories to tell. But I don't know where this one is going. It says "end" at the end, but I don't think it's the end.
Yeah, no. The previous True Weird series, which was a Blue Book, the one that was adapted. The story that James Earl, you sent me the video.
Yeah.
I know you didn't care for the story, but
the true quote unquote UFO encounter.
Hey, no. There's no need to do that. You don't have to say no.
But
boy, don't judge. God damn.
However, the backups,
Benny and Barney.
The secondary story from that first series, because he had backups in there as well. I think maybe one might have continued into the next issue, but they were pretty much all done.
But there was really no payoff to this. Like, we didn't get any resolution on the old couple. It was like, oh, I heard you have ghosts. Well, here's a couple ghost tales. They compact. Like, it really wasn't. There was no finality to it, which is why I'm hoping it wasn't the last one. You know what I mean? But anyway.
Sometimes life is just, open-ended like that.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Unless it's at the end of a Lynch movie, I don't want anything to do with it. Yeah,
I'm a qualifier.
Yes. But I thought this issue was wonderful. It gave you a whole bunch of stuff to... If you're an aficionado of the cryptozoological and you love your cryptids like the Jersey Devil and the Bigfoot and stuff, like this is my book. This is my book, dude. And it's Tynion. He's a freaking awesome writer, and so is this Steve Fox. Had to look him up, but he's done a lot of stuff.
A lot of Marvel stuff.
Yeah, and some DC stuff too. Like, he's been around, I think he's capable. I don't know where the Tynion ends and the Fox begins, but you don't really. It's neither here nor there. You don't really need to know that. It's just a well-paced, really neat story drawn by a fucking monster named Peter Kowalski. He's amazing. Yeah. Let this one be a devil, Jason.
Sounds good. It does sound really good.
The only bad thing about it is the length of the title, and I can't put it all on the featured image for this episode. So I'm just going to put Tynion. I could put True Weird. Yeah, I could do that. Tynion's only one word though. True Weird's two.
It is.
I like to leave you guys some room because I'm not like stingy like that.
Yeah. You probably. I mean, if you're going to put Tynion, then you got to put Tynion the fourth. Right.
Okay. And the other thing I read that I want to talk about has a massive title again. It's like, what's happening?
Look at that.
We can't just
They seem to be into the big titles these days.
I know.
Like, probably the longest one I'm reading right now is that Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. Like, that's a long-ass title.
That's a pretty long title. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But, when that's Remender, right?
No, that's Duggan.
That's Duggan.
Again, when you're Duggan, you can call the book whatever the frig you want to call it. So
teach me how to Duggan. Teach me how to Duggan.
I don't know. I don't get that reference. Unlike
it's the play off the Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. It's a dance. Anyway.
Yeah. What else do we have, Jason? Now you can go.
Oh, I'm allowed to go now?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Well, wait. I didn't hear anything from David. I want to hear David's.
Maybe going forward, you should email us a schedule of an itinerary for that.
Well, I mean, if you get script approval, then I should get order approval.
No.
I thought I had script approval, but
you do. But script approval is not the order in which we speak.
You just have your talent right.
Came back, so I don't know.
All right, I think we're doing Dap a disservice because Dap read it too, and I want to hear his opinion. I forgot that
on
let it be a devil. Let this one be a devil.
Oh no! Well, I mean it. What was
Dap's got a book on his books that's even a longer title than that.
That's true.
Actually, he's got three books that have a longer title than that.
Yeah, I'm stuck this week. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, colon for days too. No, let this one be a devil. I thought, yes, it looks absolutely amazing. And what it was though. This isn't a slight. It was kind of a quick read because there are some panels that you're just soaking in the visuals. There's no words, but you get. Obviously, you get the main story, and then we get the flashback. So things happen at a pretty good clip. So it's not there's not a lot to. It's not a wordy book by any means. It's not World Tree. But we what I like about it is aside from the art is just it really does kind of grab you. It sucks you in pretty much right away.
Sure.
I'm not a big fan of of Roy of the younger brother because he's got that attitude.
He does
feels
have
like
an
he's gotta
attitude.
Pick up
Yeah.
the slack after Dad's gone because Big Brother went to the big city and got that book learning, and there's a chip on his shoulder, and that's fine. He's only 15.
Sure.
And he's going to be he's the future of our child labor laws. So we've got this going on, and then we got the Newsies. It was a neat first issue. I dug it a lot. It definitely hooked me. I really. The only thing that I might say that could be a negative is just like how quickly I consumed it and wanted the next issue. It's which just they're a great team. I'm really I shouldn't be surprised, but I really James has a habit of working with some really talented artists and that can help bring his stories to life, and obviously this is no exception.
I'm going to be Jason from last episode when he was talking about Captain America, the movie. Jason,
Yeah.
Peter Kowalski doing folk horror. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What?
Well, then I saw the movie though.
Yeah, I know.
Stop. We're seeing it Saturday. Stop.
Yeah. I heard it doesn't overreach itself. It doesn't even reach. That's the problem.
Yeah, like I said, it's not the worst MCU movie, but it is definitely not the way I think they wanted to or should have started off the new phase. It's a movie that most people are going to see and forget they ever watched.
It's too bad.
And they fucking did my. I won't spoil because of that, but they fucking did my Serpent Society wrong. They did them dirty, and
They went to Taskmaster.
I realized I'm like
kinda?
the 0.01% of the people watching this movie that actually cares about that outcome. But I was like, oh no, you didn't. So
Are they actually snakes?
well, I don't want to get. That's about to see it.
I think that's the problem. Then they probably don't embrace the snake. They just probably do a snake motif, and they don't take it
Probably
where it
just
should
like
go.
code names, like
Right.
because they're still trying to, I guess, kind of make it somewhat believable.
Like Crossbones.
I would have something to say about this, but I'm not going to. Dab's got to see it.
Right.
So.
They totally
I'll
shit on
revisit it.
Crossbones.
They did Crossbones dirty. As
They
well,
did,
yes.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. He could have been something
For sure.
Been a contender. There was been, yeah, that would have been nice. To see.
And-
But
yeah,
they also,
I was saying, Crossbones did at least have those fists.
right, and he did. He kicked some ass. But yeah, it wasn't. He definitely wasn't long for this world. But they also kind of. Maybe we might get some. Well, redemption might be a bit of a reach. I mean, we haven't seen the last of Taskmaster, obviously, because of Thunderbolts. But I know that Jason was not
They
impressed.
fucking did my Taskmaster wrong too.
with their reveal in Black Widow. So
Like Caleb said, what the fuck did you do to Kevin Feige? Did you guys go to college together and you steal a girl? He's like, you fucking talked you out at every turn. I'm like, I know.
fucked up.
I don't think they were very kind to Claw either.
Well, who cares about Claw?
What do you mean? Who cares about Claw?
No. I think I
thought
was
they
fine
did
with
get
Claw
their
because
boy.
they
It's me.
stayed true to his roots.
All right,
Plus,
one at
he
a
was
time.
evil.
One at a
He was-
time.
He was a thief. He stole the vibranium, and got his just desserts from Killmonger. There was no.
Yeah, but there was no costume. There was no Sonic fucking.
Yes, there was.
Yeah, but
His
not
arm-
like
his-
Kirby
his-
drew it.
Oh my God! So he didn't have the little. He didn't have the funnel. He didn't
Have the
satellite dish on
dinky dink
attached to his
thing in the
arm.
middle of it. He needs a dinky dink thing in the middle.
And,
That's
and,
what
and,
makes it
and,
work.
and he didn't have the. He didn't have
grimace.
the funky head with
Yeah.
the little with the mark
Purple
going
and
down
red,
his
my
nose.
dude. Right.
He didn't
It
have
is
like an
kinda
idiot like he
weird
was in
that
Secret
they-
Wars.
Yeah, it's weird to me that they do the heroes with such pomp and circumstance, and then they're like, oh, all the other characters we're gonna keep them looking real. Like as
Yes.
if like somehow the world needs to be grounded. I'm like, but the whole point of this world is it's not grounded. Like,
You also have a Red Hulk in this movie. What are you doing?
yeah,
I know,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, and the Red Hulk looks just like Harrison Ford, which is really disturbing. It's really disturbing. Like it's like. Dude,
Well, I mean-
we like everybody. We stayed to the end credits, which I don't recommend doing this time, just for record. But like, if you do it, like, it is the number of people that work on a film of this type is almost incomprehensible. There are at least 500 people on the CGI alone.
Yeah,
Like it's just crazy. I don't like.
it just keeps growing.
Yeah, I don't understand how you can go Red Hulk without touching upon. Was She-Hulk in it?
No.
Was A-Bomb in it? Was fucking like? How do you?
Again,
how
I'm,
do you-
I'm trying not to spoil for Dap because he hasn't seen it yet. But it is
Okay.
it is. I mean, they do. and I guess this isn't new news because of the She-Hulk miniseries, but they do count the Incredible Hulk film as an official MCU film in canon now.
Yeah. No. Well, they did that because because Tony Stark shows up at the end talking to Ross anyway during the stinger at the end of the Incredible Hulk. So they were doing that kind of from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, either way, right? I mean, so they do draw from that. Like this is the same. This Thunderbolt Ross, and I don't think I'm spoiling by saying he's president of the United States because I think you get that from the previews. This is the same Thunderbolt Ross from that movie, and they do show clips from that film in reference to Ross and why he is how he is, and how his journey to become president.
Makes sense.
So like it is.
But he's also been pissed at the Avengers because they didn't sign the Sokovia Accords.
Yes, and that's all part of it as well, and that's
Right.
why he and Sam have beef because he sent he put Sam in prison, so like they got beef on that. And like I said, I thought Sam Wilson. I think he's a great. I love Anthony Mackie in that role. Like I like that was the saving grace of the film. Was at the start of the film I thought was cool. And I think they do a great job with his effects. Like I think that like the way that they render his costume and the wings is incredible. Like that's great CGI. And I think that Carl Lumley, who all you Alias fans out there may remember from was Dixon in Alias, but he plays the OG Captain America, Isaiah Bradley, and I think he's great in it. But that's about it for me. Everything else is like, Again, I didn't dislike it, but I was just like, okay, like it just wasn't. And relative to the other, I kind of hate like feeling the way I feel because like there's this whole ridiculous MAGA racist sort of like overtone with this movie too, which I hate. Like I hate that. But like at the end of the day, I got to be honest with how I feel about it. And like I think this is the least entertaining of the Captain America films, but not at all because Anthony Mackie is like I think he's awesome. Like you guys know I love the Falcon, but I don't put anything on Mackie. I just put it on the director and the and again, like as much as we love, it's kind of like our comics journey. Like as much as I love that all these movies are in this connected universe, I do think that. And maybe that there's no way getting around this. I think they're weighed down by that now because they reference so many things in this movie from the TV shows, multiple TV shows, multiple movies, and like they're tying up these random loose ends. And if you don't, not only if you, much less if you've not seen them, but even if you have seen them, if you're not like totally obsessed with this stuff, like a lot of us are, and you remember all these little tidbits, you're gonna be like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, what is this from? What is this? It's. I think they're asking too much of the millions of people that they want to go see this movie, right? Like for people like us that have been consuming this kind of entertainment and these long continuities forever, we're fine with it, and maybe it even enhances our experience in some points. But like for the average moviegoer, they're like, oh, what the fuck's going on? Like Beth and Holden love these movies. They've seen every one with me, but like they left the film being like, it was good, but I didn't understand half of it. Because like they don't remember the shit. Like they don't remember like 20 years ago Hulk movie and the raw. Like you know what I mean? Like they don't like they're not. It's hard for them to remember all the connectivity like we do. And I think it's asking a lot of an audience now. Like it was different when when it was first happening, the momentum, and like it was a little easier to like, just focus on the Avengers and Thanos. Like people kind of keep track of that. But now it's a little tougher because they're referencing shit from the COVID era TV shows, which a lot less people watched. Like not even a 20th of the amount of people watch those shows at all relative to saw the movies. So like that stuff doesn't pull at them the way like the movies did. Like most people that saw like Avengers Endgame saw most of the movies because it was like exciting. But most of the people seeing this did not watch, She-Hulk and did not watch Captain America or Winter Soldier and Falcon, right? Like they didn't watch those. So this stuff is lost to them. And I think that's a misstep. Fortunately, the next two movies shouldn't suffer from that, right? Because they're well, Thunderbolts might, I guess, because it is all characters from
Thunderbolts will, because that's a connection.
But at least at that, like most of them were never together before, and it's going to be a whole new adventure. So I think it'd probably be okay. But Fantastic Four is its own thing entirely, right? And I get the sense, by the way, I mean, I don't know if this has been official, but I just get the sense from seeing that trailer a couple times. And that they're obviously building this whole multiverse thing as a big part of this new phase. I don't think this Fantastic Four is the 616. I think it's a totally different reality.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Well, that's not right.
No, I think it's okay.
If anything, should be. So, did they ever say that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the 616? Like, was that ever referenced?
Well, I don't mean to say 616. I mean,
No, but
I mean
that's important because the Fantastic Four,
No, I do
if they do
believe- I
designate
don't-
this a separate reality, they should call it the 616 because that's
I
what's
believe-
Oh, maybe they will.
They
Yeah,
may,
well, I don't know.
have done it. They may have done it in the multiverse Doctor Strange movie, or they may have done it in What If. But I'm pretty sure they have said because they've named the other. They've given other universes, other multiverses numbers. So
Do you
I'm
guys
pretty
think
sure the one we're in.
I don't know how to say this without sounding like a snob, but listen,
Wow.
it is what it is. I know. Yeah, listen, we're 16 years into this thing, so I am who I am. Do you think the average moviegoer can fully conceptualize the idea of the multiverse?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. It's not hard to conceive. It's just like layers. A layer upon layer upon layer. Yeah, but what's so hard about that?
There's
Cool.
been enough.
Yeah,
I mean,
all right,
No, do you think they can't?
There's been enough sci-fi, but I
don't. I don't. I'm dubious of it, but yeah, I mean, but I could be wrong. Yeah, that's why I'm asking the question.
I mean, there are people who still think that Marvel and that Superman Spider-Man share. It's like all the same thing. So it's
Yeah,
not,
I know. Yeah, that's an adjacent thing, but I just mean more that like again the idea that
as far as like the theory of the multi. No, I definitely get what you mean. I think I don't think it's that big of a leap to try to steer them and if anybody needed it explained, it's easy enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's not obviously.
I-
The MCU's been doing this for a while now. I think probably best done so far, at least to date, was with the last Spider-Man movie, which was, to my mind, one of the best of all the films. Like, I just adored that, and that was obviously pretty complicated because you had literally 3 different Spider-Men on the screen together. So
yeah,
Yeah.
that was great.
well, listen, we've talked about 1984 being one of those all-time great years in comics.
Here we
for
go.
all of us.
Here we go.
And a huge white space for me in all of this time has been the Legion of Superheroes. And
Volume 3,
by
by the way.
Well, we'll get into that. I made the commitment this year to do some serious, like, roll up my sleeves and read a big old chunk of Legion of different eras to try and finally get, Legionized, because it's one of those pieces of the big 2 history that is, I think, beloved by many of you, many of our boos, and I don't have any really reason why I shouldn't love it or know it, because I love team books. I love getting the band together books. I love, like everything about it on the paper is right up my alley. I love so. It's just one of those things. I just never really found the inclination or impetus to dive in. I have read Legion over the years, and I think of the seminal stuff. I mean, I've read the Great Darkness saga, so I chose to start reading the 3rd volume that's been spoiled. The 3rd volume, which was number 1 started in 1984. And I know some people said, well, how'd you decide which part of Legion to read? Well, first of all, I asked a bunch of you like where I should start, and everybody kind of had their own views. But I think a lot of people through this era out good starting points. 2, this era picks up shortly after the Great Darkness saga, which was very late in the volume 2. And so I figured, okay, I'm familiar with what happened in that. So this is shortly thereafter, so I won't be completely lost. And then 3, I know the 5-year later run is like for some like the jam, but I think a lot of people, I think even you've said like that's a really tough place to jump in.
Because you don't want to start there.
Yeah, like you're the whole magic of that run is like you see all these characters you've known for years and years and years in a totally different place in life, and you have to kind of piece together like what the hell's they to. So I'm like, okay, well this is good because if I enjoy 3 and it's a big old run, I'll have plenty to read, and then I can then have the direct history of going into the 5-year later run, which comes next. So I read the first 10 issues this week, and I guess I shouldn't. It goes without saying, but it's Paul Levitz is Paul Levitz and Keith Giffen are the co-story plotters, I believe they're called. And then Giffen is the artist for a few issues, with Larry Malstedt as the inker, and then Steve Lytle obviously takes over, and I think he does about a year of it. He does the rest of the book that at the point I've read, and then I believe he leaves shortly after. Like, if I read another 10, I think he's gone, right? And then he, I don't know who comes from. I don't know who comes next, but like I don't know how. What I'm getting is I don't know how many different run. I assume a lot, but I know Greg LaRoe. Greg, has he come next? I know he did a really long run, right? So he's
I don't know if he comes
this.
next, but keep talking and I'll check it.
Yeah, but this is one of those things where we talk a lot about how in the last 20 years comics have changed so much for lots of reasons, but the idea of like jumping on points is so important now, and that. Back in our day, because we literally did go and buy stuff every week or every few weeks, we would it was very common for us to just pick up a book that looked cool and jump in the middle of an arc. Like, we didn't know. We were like, oh, okay, this looks cool. Let me check this out. And you'd be right. You'd just have to kind of like dive in head first, and you'd be lost. For some of it would be lost to you, and you kind of eventually, if you kept reading the series, you piece it all together. So that's kind of what this was like. I mean, it is a first issue, which is good, but at the end of the day, like, there is still the presumption that you know a lot about these characters. And what's interesting is that, and because you guys know I wasn't reading a lot of DC back then, or I wasn't reading DC at that era at all until much later in life, there's like no editor's notes or flashbacks. Like, they do not give you, Levitz gives you no, other than what's in the dialogue itself, he gives you no help about like what's going on. Like, he just, even though it's a number one, you're just thrown into it, right? Now, the other interesting thing about choosing the starting point is that they go, the first arc, the first 5 issues is the Legion of Superheroes versus the Legion of Supervillains, which again is like super fun because I love a good baddie team, but it gets complicated because the Legion of Supervillains are pretty much power amalgams of the Legion of Superheroes. Yeah. And many of them have the same names or are
and
siblings.
They're related. Yeah, they're
yes. So so like the first 2 issues, I'm in the deep end. I'm like, there's Lightning Lad, there's Light Lass, there's Lightning Lord. I'm like, holy shit, dude! I'm like, what did I get into here? I'm like, what is going on? It's like, because they're all named Lad or Last or Gal or Boy, right? Even though they're all grown ass men and women, they be fucking, they got kids like that. I mean, they're gonna change their names, dude. Like, it's like they all cut. Like, none of them are lads and lasses at this point, But like with anything, we, especially because of our era of reading, I'd say by the 3rd or 4th issue, it's like you put in a babblefish in your ear. You walk into an alien cantina. At first, it's all mumbles, but
yep,
a couple drinks in, you start understanding what's being said. And like, I realized that like by the 3rd issue, I could figure out who all the characters were. I could figure out, oh, that's a bad guy. That's the good one. Okay, they're fucking, they're brother and sister. They hate each other because it didn't take that long for it all to start feeling like I understood the language. And then from there, it got a lot of fun. Like the first couple issues took a long time to read, and I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be tough. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not meant to read Legion. But then I'd say by the 3rd or 4th issue, and then I zoomed through the last chunk, just because it was like, I was on even footing in terms of who all they were and stuff. And it's a blast, man. I mean, it's a fucking blast. Like. It's, again, they throw you into the deep end, and it's nonstop action. I mean, it is a bunch of badass people who've come together explicitly to try and kill and destroy the heroes of the book, and the heroes are scattered about, and they're dealing with their own shit after the Great Darkness saga, and the villains come correct. I mean, they're not like, they're prepared, they have motivations, they have a plan. It's not like they're, just like, it's not like in the comics, like, oh, I'm gonna just come and get you. Like, no, they've thought this out. This is like very calculated. The leaders of the Legion of Supervillains have deep motivations and are driven by a higher purpose than just wanting to be quote unquote evil for the sake of it. And I thought it was great, man. The whole thing was great. I can see why the people that do love the Legion seem to love the Legion, and that's because of that soap operatic component, which is not unusual in any teen book, right? I mean, it's part of the reason that Claremont Byrne X-Men was so great at we were young, and it was in Teen Titans. It's in all these I was gonna say it's in all the teen books. I don't know that it's always in. Well, I mean, there are phases when it's in Avengers and Justice League too, but I feel like there's certain teen books that are more about the drama
Yeah.
and the interconnectivity. And
More on
this
the
is-
DC side, though, because you got Titans,
Yeah.
Teen Titans,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Legion, and yeah, but the X-Men definitely.
For sure. And so this was very much like that. I mean, right? Like, I mean, honestly, like you've got there's people that clearly had been in relationships and now are no longer, and there's people that are currently in relationships. There's people that are estranged from one another but love each other. I mean, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of back and forth. And I know I was down for all of it. Like, I'm like, okay, cool, man, this is real cool. I think the names are ridiculous. Like, again, the names are silly, but that's like a trope. Like, I get it. Like, that's kind of the history of it. But I thought it was really fun. Like the way that, I mean, they have badass powers. People die. You know, like, I guess you can't spoil a book from 40 years ago too badly. So, like, Karate Kid dies in the book. You know, which is one of the main
in
the main
quotes.
Legionnaires.
In quotes.
Huh? What?
It dies in quotes.
Well, okay, well, I mean, okay, that must happen. He's dead as far as I'm concerned right now. He's dead, but you know, and then after he dies, his girl fucking projector goes fucking ham and, you know, gets her vengeance. Like she levels up, and I'm like, okay. So yeah, man, it's great. Like I will say the only thing I didn't necessarily love is the coloring. And I don't know if it's because, as we talked about, like, well, actually, what I talked about this when I was on the Comics 114 guys, about how, like, you know, sometimes when you read the digital reprints, they for some reason have recolored them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm reading a recolored thing or not. Like, I don't know if the digital stuff I'm reading is the original colors. So that I can't speak to, but the colors as I read them were busted. Like they weren't natural. You know, it was like random colors for the sake of it because it was an alien planet, but it didn't. Like, the color theory wasn't strong in this book, I don't think. But beyond that, though, you know, I got no complaints with Lytle. I don't think Lytle's like, you know, John Buscema. I mean, I wasn't like, or Alan Davis. Like, I wasn't blown away by the art, right? Like, I wasn't like, holy shit, like, this is crazy good art. But it was totally good. Like, I have no issues with it. It was totally functional, and to his credit, you know, it's hard to draw a book with like 30 to 40 different characters, and have
rough.
And a lot of them don't wear masks, so, you know, they're beautiful men and women, and really you only have the hair cut and the hair color to really separate them in a lot of ways. And I thought it was pretty easy to differentiate them, which is not an easy feat. So I give them props for the art.
There's one double page spread I remember it's in the Lytle issues where there must be like 25 characters in the panel, and it's one panel, and they're all just like sitting in these gravity chairs and shit and just talking. And there's like, if I remember, there's like a fish in the upper corner or something, and they're all talking. And it's like, how do you pull off 25 characters in one panel just sitting around talking? Like, it's nuts. It's crazy. But for your information, because you asked, Lytle draws issue 14, but that's not where his run starts, because let me see. LaRock comes on for 15.
Okay.
And then Lytle does 16, and then LaRock gets on 17, and I believe that's where his chunky run starts, from 17 up. Yeah.
Okay.
This series didn't last that long as far as Legion series goes. Like, this only went, I think, 65, 66 issues, if I remember correctly. But there's like annuals and stuff as well. It's a good series. Yeah, I think I have all of those in singles.
Nice.
Yeah, and the color is kind of weird. So,
Well, because it was the Baxter run.
yeah, there's a lot of eye searing. There's a lot of magentas and cyans.
Yeah, totally.
And shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like, you don't get I don't know that you get enough, at least in these first issues, of any character to really, for me, it's like, oh, character too much. Like, you know, because you get like a little taste of each one. You get to see each one kind of do their thing with the powers. You get to see each one a little bit of like their personal drama, but like, you know, not a ton, right? Like, there's not like it's still early in that regard. Like, I can't say I came away thinking like characters X, Y, and Z, and I can't, you know, I mean, I thought they were all pretty cool for what they were. I'm a little confused, like with Mon-El. Like, thought Monel was a bad guy, but I guess is that later in?
No.
No, Monel's a
Okay.
good guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically has
Yeah.
the power of Superman.
Superman, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
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 I love Dream Girl.
And it, you know, right. Yeah.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and again, like, I mean, I don't know if it makes sense to talk about who the characters are because it's like a lot. I mean,
There's a lot.
it's
yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, you got Dawnstar and Dream Girl and White Witch and Brainiac, of course, and Chameleon Boy, right? Is it Chameleon Boy? Yeah,
Yep.
Boy. Ultra Boy or Man? Ultra Boy. Yeah, they're all like
Yeah,
Colossal
Ultraman's
Boy,
on the
right?
other side of the ocean.
Right. Colossal Boy, Shrinking Violet, Cosmic Boy,
Shadow.
Yeah,
Man.
so,
Like
like, you know,
Wildfire and Timberwolf. Just to
Wildfire
mix things up.
Wolf. You got Karate Kid. You got Projectra. You got
Well, Timberwolf,
yeah, you
they're
know,
like, hey, that Wolverine character's doing pretty well for Marvel.
Yeah.
Why don't
Well,
we?
I mean, the lead
you got Block, Element
Block's
Lad,
cool.
Shrinking Violet.
Yeah.
So you got a lot though, right? Like that's a lot already listed off. Well, like that's 20, and that's just the good guys. Like then the bad guys, you got the leader's Nemesis Kid, which is pretty cool. He's got a cool. He's like
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster, but only he actually gets the powers. So more like more
remember,
like,
there's
like
some
Prodigy,
of the
like Prodigy.
some of the Legion of Supervillains will eventually become Legionnaires.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't say
Okay.
which, but some.
Yeah.
It's like, do you invite Radiation Roy to a party, or are you just like, fuck him? Like he's just gonna get everybody sick. Don't invite Radiation Roy to anything.
Yeah, you got the Chameleon Chief, right? You got the Spider Girl. You got the
Lightning Lord.
Titania, Silver Slasher. You got Tyr, who I guess used to be a member of the Legion because they referenced that in the book. Like,
Yep,
oh, yeah.
yep. Computer.
Computer, Lazon, or Lazon, however you say that. They got the weird one, Zamir, Esperlass. The one thing I will say, and I don't know if it changes as they go on, like, I'm a little weirded out by the fact that there aren't more odd-looking characters. Like they're all pretty much humanoid. Like, yes, they, like obviously some have different colored skin, and then, like, you know, Chameleon Boy's got, like, the little antennae, and then, like, Block's rocked, but, like, they're all pretty much humanoid. Like, I was thinking, like, you know, like, if this book was done today, right, like, you'd have a ton of different shaped, like more like Alien Legion. Like
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. Alien Legion is like the possible iteration of this. Like, there should be, like, fucking armadillos running around.
That's what I'm saying. They should look different, right? Like, yeah. But,
It's like
but that's like a minor quibble.
In order to have membership at a Legion, you have to come like from a Class M planet like Star Trek, because everybody, as long as they can breathe
That's true.
oxygen
Yeah, that's true.
and you looked humanoid, that was considered a Class M planet.
And there was one thing in there which I
Racist.
kind of had to impugn because they didn't really
Right.
explain it again with no editor's notes. But Lightning Lass, or she comes back, right? Like she
Yes.
rejoins the team during this arc because I guess she was away, and her brother is Lightning Lad.
Yep.
And then
her
when
older
she comes-
brother.
the older brother was the bad guy. Yeah. But like she
Lightning
comes
Lord.
back and she's like, "All right, I'm back, bitches." And she basically, like, she pontificates. She's like, "Listen, don't give me any of this trifling bullshit about how we can't have two Legionnaires with the same powers because I'm coming back to the fucking team. I don't care what you say." And then, like, Dream Girl, who's the leader at times, like, "Listen, homegirl, your bro's on hiatus. Doesn't matter, you can come back." But, like, she says at the time, like, she's like, "And don't try and change my powers this time." And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like,
Oh, Light Lass, yes.
yeah, I'm like, so they changed her powers so she could stay on the team because they couldn't, like, is that what happened? And I was like, I was confused. I figured out that's what she was alluding to, but then I'm like, okay, because a couple times when they first see her, they call her Light Lass. She's like, no, it's Light.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and then clearly, like, she doesn't have her powers when she's captive, and then she gets her powers back, and I guess they're all surprised because she's got the lightning power. So I'm like, okay, I get it. At some point, she had a different power set, but then it's alluded to the fact that, I guess because the Legion had this weird rule that you couldn't have two people with the same power set,
Right.
and her and her brother were both on the team, somehow she changed her powers, but, like, how does that happen?
Guess you'll just have to
That would
read
have
it.
been in volume 2.
Yeah.
No, it was in volume 2.
I said you'll just have to read it. Yeah.
Bro, I'm past
I
it.
know you're right. You can always go back.
Yeah, okay.
God, jeez.
And that also happened with Triplicate Girl, who ends up becoming Duo Damsel.
Duo damsel, right?
I assume that's
one of
because
them-
one of them dies, though, right?
Well, we maybe.
Yeah. Now, also, I
Imagine
will
them
say,
on a sleepover. Hamada, hamada.
right? In a world where these days they just don't give a shit about covers, I thought these covers were fantastic,
They are great. Yep.
and they're Giffen. Giffen does the covers for
Well,
for
they
most
don't
of them.
forget they were charging more for this book, so
Oh,
they
it was Baxter.
We're
Baxter.
Yeah.
buck and a quarter, $1.50. Yeah.
yeah they
Buck
had to
25 is
give
the
they had to
cover.
give you a reason to pony up the extra shekels. So the covers were all real nice. Some of them even were
Beautiful.
even painted, I think.
Yeah, really beautiful.
Well, the
covers.
Perez the Perez books on the New Titans were definitely painted. Some
Then
of
they
them painted.
got Byrne to do a cover or two, and he's like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
put this in my back pocket for when I get to do Superman. And then
And I will say, definitely is some like sexy time in this. Like,
Oh, yeah.
people be fucking.
Yeah.
Lots of times the girls like end up in, tattered clothing. They're like essentially naked. Like Lytle was ever like Levitt's a little freaky. He was like a little freaky.
It might have also been a bit on Giffen too.
Oh, Giffen, whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
mad at it though. I'm down with the cheesecake.
I think
That's
if
nice.
if George
sure.
wasn't on Teen Titans, I think he would have been a perfect fit for Legion of Superheroes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for
100%.
sure. For sure.
Yep.
So good first experience. I mean, a lot of fun, easy read. Like, again, once you kind of dive in and you just let it envelop you, then it doesn't take long. It doesn't take
So
long
much
to figure
fun
it out.
too. But then
Yeah.
you're going to get to the point where somebody's going to say something offhand in a panel. You'll be like, "What?" And you'll go back and like, "Where was this?" Because I don't remember. You know what I mean? Like the continuity in Legion is a bear because it's like Levitz doesn't forget anything.
Right.
And so it's you got to pay attention. It's always being alluded to or quoted or remember that
Yeah.
when you were
And
like
my understanding is like the next chunk I'm going to read is tied into the Byrne Superman.
that's what I'm saying.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Right on.
Yeah, I think those issues should also be in
The Man of
that
Steel.
Man of Steel
Yeah.
collection. Yeah.
Yep.
And like I was looking ahead at some of the covers, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna have me because like in cover 17, at number 17, it's like it starts here a new beginning. They're recruiting. That's my shit. That's like why I love the Avengers, man. It's like,
Yeah.
who's gonna be the new members, man? I gotta know. It's like I love that stuff. I love that stuff.
You're such an easy mark for that.
It really
Oh,
is.
totally, man. Totally.
Yeah.
It's like give me a couple margaritas.
Dab, please pull us out of this hole.
Oh
Give
my
me two
god!
margaritas and a
So there's a Disney Plus series that the wife and I are getting a kick out of. We're a couple episodes in, and it is called Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and it is it's not tied into the MCU, although May is very much modeled after Marissa Tomei. And there is a prequel series, 6-issue, I believe a 6-issue miniseries that Marvel is putting out, written by Christos Gage, art by Eric Gapster, who most would know as being Phil Hester's anchor on things like Family Tree or Action Comics or Gotham City or One. So he's the artist on this, and he's very faithful to the animation style on the cartoon. The cartoon, I enjoy the cartoon a lot. It's got a it's got a mix of like some Romita Senior, some Kirby. I like the way it looks, and they've switched some things up. Norman and Harry, they're African American, which honestly makes sense with the hair these days. But the there's and you've got so Peter gets his powers because there seems to be he's about to attend Midtown High. It's the first day of school. He shows up to school, and basically like there's this interdimensional rift that appears overhead, and what looks to be like a symbiote comes through, followed by Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is able to take care of it, but not before they do damage to Midtown High, and a spider ends up on the back of Peter's on the nape on the back of Peter's neck and bites him, and so that is how he acquires his powers in this universe, in this particular tale. Cartoon's great, enjoying it a lot. But the comic I'm enjoying because yes, it does take place. We do get the cartoon. Basically, Peter's already like running around in like he's got his web shooters, but he's wearing like a hockey jersey, jeans, sneakers. He's got a red mask on, but nothing that really. He's got the eye holes. The mask looks like a Spider-Man mask, but without all the lines and everything. So he's running around like in a homemade costume. So he's already got his powers. There's no Uncle Ben, and so it's similar to the Tom Holland era Spider-Man movies where we're just dealing with Peter and May and we don't get all the backstory. But the prequel comic, we have we see Peter getting used to his powers, and first day of school. Well, what would have been the first day of school in Midtown, he meets his friend, or the woman who becomes his friend, Nico Minoru, and she's kind of like a goth chick. Yep, and she's absolutely, she is absolutely fabulous in the cartoon. She's great in the comic. She keeps Peter grounded. I have a feeling he's going to end up letting her know he's Spider-Man, but right now he's keeping it a secret from everyone, unless you're a couple episodes into the cartoon, then you might know different. But he he's trying to. He and Nico in the first issue of the comic, they go to investigate what's going on at Midtown High because since the school's basically closed because of the damage that occurred, all the students are going to be sent to other comparable high schools, and Nico's losing her shit because it's like we were all going to Midtown because it's like that's the best school we have around here, and if we wanted to go to the other schools, we would have been easily able to get into those schools. We didn't want those schools, and now they're just going to shove us in these other schools where we're not going to get the education and go after everything that we wanted to at Midtown. So she's having a whole thing about that, and Peter's trying to just calm her nerves, but they want to find out if they can see any clues at the school, so they go and investigate. And while they're there, a couple of mobsters show up, and they are sent by Silvio Manfredi, and they get Peter and Nico get found out that they're at the school and they're being chased by the mobsters. They split up, but Peter's powers kind of take over, and he's able to get away. Nico had already gotten away because they had split up, and he decides that he might not be Spider-Man, he might not be Captain America, but he should be able to do something with these abilities. And what cracks me up is that Silvio Manfredi is the owner of Silvermane Hair Products for Men, which cracked me up when I saw that.
That's funny as hell.
And he doesn't look like the old man that Cloak and Dagger are always bothering. He just he's got like these long flowing white locks. Looks very much like a hair club president, but the second issue is where Peter faces off against Crusher Hogan, and there's a neat panel where after Crusher feels like after he gets humiliated and he goes after the Spider-Man after the match, Peter basically picks him up, throws him in a trash can, and as he's walking away, you see Crusher's legs like flailing about at the top of the trash can as Peter's walking away with his back to us, and down in the corner it says "After a Meter," because obviously it's the cover from 51. But he dons his makeshift outfit, goes around the city to make sure everything's okay, and ends up facing the enforcers. And that's when because Silvermane brought them into town because they want to embarrass Spider-Man. Silvermane wants to embarrass Spider-Man and basically kind of just nip any future threats in the bud, because when Peter does, he's overpowered. He webs up Fancy Dan. He's able to he takes care of Ox, but Montana uses his whip to break the cable connecting the web tanks to Peter's wrist shooters, and so Peter's overwhelmed, and Spidey swings away when he's finally able to, and of course it's on film, so people are calling Spider-Man a coward, and there's even a part where Peter tries out for because he's trying to navigate the way through the hall. He's trying to navigate the hallway at the high school, and it's kind of, there's one point where he's almost tripping, and he bounces off the lockers, and the football coach sees him. It's like, you'd be great on the field. And Peter, at first, he's mulling it over. He's got the dilemma of whether or not he should go out for the team, because he doesn't want to take advantage. He's got these powers. Obviously, he feels like it's cheating. But Nico and May are both like, listen, if you have this ability, if you're able, if you have a talent, then yes, by all means use it. But, as your Ben would say, if you have the ability, then, use it to help others and not just be selfish with it. So he ends up making himself not look good out on the field. So he ends up not making the team, obviously, but now he's able to dedicate time to other things. But there is one panel where, well, two panels, but Peter says, listen, Rockford, where they ended up sending Peter and Nico, Rockford's a student athlete school, and if he tries out for the football team, then maybe they end up getting a scholarship. Maybe Peter ends up getting a scholarship, which obviously would help him in May. But it also feels kind of wrong, because it's not, he'd be cheating. And May basically like, listen, man, you're definitely a Parker. You don't feel you deserve something unless you suffer for it. And I have never felt more fucking seen in a panel than in this issue. But we've got, after Peter ends up failing his tryout, he modifies his web shooters. He comes up with a spider design for the front of his hockey jersey, and now he's pretty sure the next issue he's going to go for his rematch with the Enforcers. But this series is it's just a lot of fun. If you would like, if someone hasn't, I want to say if someone hasn't been enjoying Spider-Man, but if you enjoy the cartoon, then you obviously, yes, I would absolutely think you get a kick out of this comic. It's not spoiling anything as far as what's going on in the cartoon, not that I can tell yet. But I mean, that's the whole point of the prequel. I like the prequel aspect of it because, like I said, we didn't see the whole going through and learning how to use his powers and figuring out his web shooters and how to come up with the idea of the serum for it, and all of that is bypassed because we saw that with Maguire, we saw that with Garfield, we've seen it plenty of times, so it's not something we need to see again. There's a mention where when Nico and Peter are going to go and investigate the school at night, Nico tells him, make sure you wear something dark, and he's not. He's wearing his fucking yellow sweater vest and his blue jeans, and she's like, you don't have anything black? And he goes, I have a black suit, but I don't feel like wearing that again. And so there are clues. There's obviously things that he hasn't outright said, but anybody who's familiar with the legend, with the lore, knows what he's referring to. But it was a lot of fun. I've always, Christos Gage is extremely good at what he does. Eric's art is fitting for this story, for this comic, and because it's very reminiscent to the animation style of the show. But yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I don't know. The third issue just came out this week, so I gotta wait a while for the next one. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. It was, and what's weird is not that Renee is a big Superman fan to begin with, but she kind of bailed on my adventures with Superman, and she's enjoying Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But that's also because it's part of it does kind of remind her of the Holland version of Spider-Man, and that is of the three that is her favorite. So I don't blame her, but yeah. So and it's fun, and because we've seen Doctor Strange, I believe we're going to see Daredevil. There is a connection. We've heard about Spider-Man isn't on his own in this, or he's not the only hero in existence on this series. So if you're familiar with the other Marvel heroes, and if they show up, so there's that also. If you have been enjoying the movies, then there's something to look forward to. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with the series so far, but the cartoon is absolutely great.
Nice.
Yeah, speaking of Daredevil, I saw
the trailer.
I saw the trailer to Born Again.
Yep.
I'm not optimistic.
About what?
It's not dark enough, dude. It's not. There doesn't seem to.
Violent?
I don't know. I mean, I'll hold out, but you're taking one of the greatest arcs
no, but yeah, you can't think that
I don't know. You can think that way, because if you're going to
call it... I mean, yes, you can.
Yeah.
But I mean, they also called it Age of Ultron. That had nothing to do with that trick of a series. But you've also...
but it's called Born Again. Bring it.
Right, because the series is back. Because this series has gone from Netflix and is now back on Disney Plus.
No.
We already had Nuke in the Jessica Jones series, so they can't... Well,
they're going to need to rectify. This is not right. If you call it Born Again...
I am glad that Karen and Foggy are in it, because when they were first putting the show together and announcing things, those actors were not part of it initially. So I'm glad to see them back.
Well, if Karen doesn't get the AIDS... Nope. Nope. You ruined it.
It's 2025. She might have to get something else. All right,
give her something else. Give her like H1N1 or whatever the hell it is.
Give her a visa.
All right, I got something. Mm-hmm. Yes, I talked about this book a while back, maybe 10, 15 episodes ago. Let's make it 10. When the first issue came out, and this second issue it's odd because it's more of the same, but it's very different from the first. Mm-hmm. It's written by Gus Moreno, illustrated by the great Jakub Rebelka. And I'm going with Jakub. I don't know if it's Jacob. It could be. But let's just refer to him with his surname, and it's Rebelka. It is When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee, number 2. Do you remember the deal with issue 1, Jason?
Might need to refresh me, bruv.
All right. Briefly, you have two priests. One, Father Merrick Stygian, is an exorcist. He is saddled with an assistant, Father Manuel Barrera, who's a reluctant exorcist in training. Now, he's got a kind of shadowy past. He may or may not have... Well, he did. He drowned an infant while performing the baptismal rite. And I'm guessing he detected something within that infant that prompted him to end that child's life. I don't think he's bad per se. I just think he saw something and he rectified it. And wow, that's a very large, bitter pill to swallow, killing an infant, right? But in this one, remember in the first issue, Stygian has an assistant, Maru. She's his gal, Friday, kind of. She has a nephew named Alex, and Alex is in a very bad way. He's possessed by something, or he's either possessed or he's tormented, because he keeps getting these visions at night of being visited by Father Varden. Father Varden's dead by his own hands, which is a one-way ticket to hell. If you're a Christian, right? If you commit suicide, there's no hope for you. You're
done. Yep.
You're going to hell. Even Maru believes that she had seen the priest, riding one of her brother Ernesto's horses. It's a friggin' very disturbing scene where the priest is on the horseback and his eyes are completely white and he's got this rictus hanging out. And she's like, oh shit, it's Father Varden is fucking dead. But so when the horse came back to Ernesto, the horse was pregnant. It wasn't pregnant when the horse left. When the horse came back, it was pregnant. So Father Stygian believes that Father Varden is feeding on young Alex, draining him of energy in order to return to the land of the living through the uterus of a horse. No, this is funny. I mean, it's not funny. It's disturbing, but it's memorable and kind of funny. Monty Python would have had a field day with this. As the scene plays out, you see Father Stygian and Father Merrick, Father Merrick, sorry. That's a Freudian exorcist slip. Father Barrera are in the kid's room, and there's a window. And outside the window, Ernesto has a double-barrel shotgun, and he's blowing all of his horses away. Boom! Right in the head. And the horse would drop, and then he moves on to, and the scenes are going on, and Ernesto moves to another horse, and boom! Blows him in the head. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? Well, he opens up the belly of the horse, and there's this thing inside the belly, and it's like, rah! It's making this weird fucking sound. And Father Stygian's like, you're not going to be able to dispose of that by shooting it. You're going to have to burn it. There was an infestation in the uterus of this horse that looked very much like a half human, half horse thing. And Rebelka does such an amazing job. Like, he is one of the only people I would pick to illustrate this, because he's got the disturbing down, the ick, perfectly. It's so surreal. It's so expressive. Like, the art is just ridiculously. It's kind of like this is one of those books where when you willingly enter that first page, you are taken into a realm that's unlike any other. It's very, reality is hard to pin down in this. Is this shit really happening? Is there a dead priest that's trying to fucking come back through the uterus of a horse? Like, it's just, what is happening? But then stuff gets really real from this end out. Stygian and Barrera, they try and purge the evil from Alex, but he's out in the fucking yard eating dead horse. He's like, I don't want to say too much, but it's very surreal and very disturbing. And you're wondering, like, how does this fit into the big picture of what's going on? Like, from the first issue, you don't know. The kid takes a swipe at Father Barrera. Like, he already has like a cleft palate to begin with, and now he's got a scar on his fucking head. So he looks just, he's weird looking to begin with. And that's another thing. Like, Rebelka's art it shifts. Like, facial features they'll be at odd angles, like strange geometry, right? That Lovecraft chestnut. It's just a weird, unsettling, very hard to pin down reality. I absolutely love this book. It's about two exorcists, Jason. What?
I hear you.
Are you kidding me? But would it be as successful if it wasn't for Rebelka? I don't know. I can't say. We have a great recipe right now. I'm not going to wonder what it would have been like at the hands of anyone else, but I can guess it would not be as successful. Because he's really strong with the paint. Like, there is shifting colors and just really. I'm using the thing that was in the body of the horse as our featured image for this one because it is so freaking disturbing. It has an eye that just looks straight at the viewer and it peers right into your soul. Stop it. It has multiple rows of teeth, and there's hand lettering for the scream effect. It is beautiful. It's absolutely perfect. Now, I don't know if Rebelka does physical work or if he's entirely digital. I don't know. But man, if there's ever a chance that I could have some of this on my wall, I may take it depending on the price.
Really?
I love his work. Like, how do you get
Okay.
me to read a cyberpunk story? I've never played the game. I don't know anything about the universe. I heard the game started off shit, but then they fixed it. Kind of like No Man's Sky. It started bad, but then they tweaked it, and I guess it's okay now. But yeah, to get me to read cyberpunk, I saw that Rebelka was on it, and I read it, and I enjoyed it. So that's the thing. Like, the same thing with Borderlands. We have the game Borderlands. Never played it. I think my kids did, and I may have peered over their shoulder. But Mike Norton is drawing the current Borderlands comic.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, Norton's drawn it. I'll read it, and it's great. Like, it's wonderful because there's a character in it that actually resembles Mike. So I don't know if that was intentional or, but yeah, Norton's on Borderlands, and it's really good. So, but whatever, I'm digressing immensely. But so if you like Mike Norton, read Borderlands because it's freaking good. Who doesn't like Mike Norton? But yeah, this Rebelka cat is amazing, and I will read anything that he draws. But the fact that he's drawing a book about an old crotchety exorcist and a younger one that doesn't know his place in the world, and they're just trying to tamp out evil, like that's my bread and butter. Right? Mm-hmm. So when I lay my vengeance upon thee, another cumbersome titled book, but whatever, it's really great. And it's from Boom, if I didn't mention it already.
Boom, here comes the...
Yeah. There's something about the whole exorcist shtick that I both love and hate. I love it because it's borderline profane. So you bring in this Catholic priest to eradicate an infernal infestation in an innocent soul. That's fun, right? That's fun. But I'm thinking any demon worth its salt is not going to leave just because some asshole priest tells them to get out, right? In the name of the Lord, I beseech thee that, like, what? The demon would be like, fuck you, I'm here already. Like, your boss is not going to get me to leave. If you're a competent demon, right? If you're just like a schlub, like a low-level demon, maybe, but just mentioning something holy in quotes, something holy's name, that going to get you to leave? Like, what kind of demon are you? You know what I mean? So it's like, the logistics of possession I find fascinating. That if ever something evil permeated your body, like how would you get rid of that? What do you do? What do you do? You call a priest. Well, then you're a shit demon if you vacate just because a priest tells you to get out. Throw some water on you that's been blessed by a priest, whatever. That doesn't make sense to me. I would think that once a demon has their hooks in someone, like, it's forever. Right? It should be.
Theoretically, I mean, it might be.
Yeah, and of what use to the demon is a young girl. That's the one thing about The Exorcist that didn't really make sense to me. Of what use was Reagan to that demon? What could it possibly do? Age with her and then maybe find a position of prominence in something where it could do evil, but it doesn't make, like, I would think a demon would want to possess a president or somebody with power, right? Where it can do some real serious harm. But like a 12-year-old girl, what's that going to do? I don't get that.
Right.
I get it to deflower the innocence. That's fun for a demon, I would think. But yeah, well, so what's the payoff? You got to go to school. The demon probably like, get me out of here. This is boring. I want to leave. Like, I don't know. Maybe I think too much about the end game for a demon. Like, of what value is this host to you? But the ending to The Exorcist was absolutely perfect. Where so now you've just destroyed a priest. So yeah, you did something.
Right.
As far as the demon goes. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, mission accomplished, yeah.
Right. When I lay my vengeance upon the number 2 from Boom, it's really good, and the covers are sick. The cover to issue 2 is just like, wow. Yeah. Give Rebelka a raise.
Nice.
Right. Like, seriously.
Rebelka.
What if a demon possessed you?
Okay.
To what end? right? It could manipulate the fuck out of the stock market, right? For the wrong,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean,
right?
there'd be much more powerful people than me that it could.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like if it possessed DAP, so all the computers don't work right. You know what I mean? Or if it possessed me, why? Why would it possess me? You think there would have to be a carrot on a stick for a demon? Mm-hmm. What is the end game? Why are you possessing this kid? Why does this priest want to come back to what are the machinations behind this thing you got in play? I need to know. Like if a demon possessing Superman, that's a good gig.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's like the pièce de résistance of possession. If you're going to possess somebody, you possess Superman. Or like somebody that can punch a hole in the moon, right?
Looks like the demons finally got it right, because I think they're possessing the world's leader.
Well, I think there's a whole bunch of people out there whose hearts don't work right. Remember what David Lynch said? Fix your hearts or die, right? Mm-hmm. I think their hearts are just they're not working right. They're forgetting that they're
not working right. Yeah.
No, they're forgetting that they're members of an organism, not an individual.
Facts.
Yeah. But anyway, I love horror. Mm-hmm. I love horror. I love to think about horror. Yeah, I have I don't know if I completely believe in possession.
Yeah, I mean it's fascinating to me. You believe in lots of other shit.
Well, no, but so okay. You are a demon of some standing in hell, and your goal is to inhabit the body of a young woman. Like there are a lot of famous famous possession cases where it documented, that the girl loses weight and she starts speaking in tongues in a language that she never spoke before. All that crap. But so what's the payoff of that? What's the payoff? I don't know. I don't understand it. That you would destroy the life of an innocent young girl. Okay, I guess has some cachet among the demons. Like, yeah, all right, bud, dap me up.
I always took it to mean like it's hard for them to gain possession, so any crack in the fissure that allows them to come here, they're going to take.
Yeah, but what do you do with it? You just have a young girl shout obscenities and
they're evil entities just trying to cause chaos, right? Like that's like they feed off that, right?
Right, but that circle of chaos doesn't spread too far. Maybe the parents of the child affected. Maybe
I feel like the demons aren't like picky. They're not that picky. They're like,
well, they should be. Maybe they should be. Yeah,
but these are lesser demons, right? Like the whole idea is that these are lesser, like kind of wilding out down in the.
I don't know if Pazuzu's a lesser demon. I mean, Reagan was possessed by Pazuzu. That's a pretty big deal. I don't know. I just think it's fascinating that there's this mythology built up of people that have been possessed and documented cases of possession. And there was, if you're an Art Bell fan, there was a priest named Malachi Martin that would talk about possession and perfect possession, which I think is a joke. Perfect possession. What does that even mean? It's like being pregnant. You're either possessed or you're not. Right? Why does it have to be whatever? I think he was a charlatan.
Well, it makes it perfect. Like inviting
right. You're perfectly possessed. Like, a lot of people think Malachi Martin was an agent of an alphabet organization. Anyway, he was a Catholic priest. He was a Catholic priest, but they think he was whatever. If you know the Art Bell mythology, but yeah, I don't understand that if anything has any kind of potency at all, a dude who went to seminary school and whatever, climbed up the ranks of the priesthood, a dude coming in, throwing some water on you and saying some shit in Latin and invoking the name of his boss is going to get you to leave the body of the... It's like, no. Mm-hmm. No, get out of here. But anyway, let's talk about comics. Ba-da-bum, ba-bum. What else do we have? Looking at the clock, we have some time.
Well, I will say that I was real pleased with G.I. Joe number 4.
Well, that's good to hear because you haven't
Yeah, I
been
was
bringing
thinking,
it up
yeah.
much.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you gotta say, like, I think the build up to the main series, I love that, and we talked about this. I love that Skybound took their time. They gave us 4 complete miniseries before they even touched the main title book. I like that. I like that this book is very different than the past. Like, this is a different Joe team. It's more of a Skunkworks team. It's literally brand new. Like, but like even like the rest of the military is what G.I. Joe is. Like, I like that. Like, there's a lot I like conceptually, but I didn't think I wasn't like tractor beamed into the beginning of the book. Though. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I mean, like, it was cool, but I'm like, okay, wasn't like just wasn't feeding my soul in the way I'd hoped it would. But yeah, for some reason this issue just hit me right. I just think we're ramping now. We're getting into some stakes. We're getting to some action. We're seeing Cobra Commander really exert his will. I love that they're actually killing people in this book. There's a scene where basically a red shirt. I mean, it's not anyone of consequence gets shot right in the head by one of the dreadnoughts. Like, it's like, they did. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, we actually got people getting killed. That's dope. Tomax and Zaymot figure prominently in this one. They're blonde in this, which I'm not mad at. Like, switch it up. It's cool. Yeah, I'm with it. Like, I'm with it. Like, we got the whole like Destro Tomax Zaymot beef. We have they're creating this bomb which basically will brainwash people in the radius of the blast radius, which is again very corny and like classic G.I. Joe. Like, that's classic kind of like trope. So I'm with that. Like, the whole thing, I'm just with it. I was like, okay, this is good. I think Riley's art looks great. I just think they're ramping up the action finally, and we're getting enough of the core members that I'm with. That I'm feeling it. It's moving in the right direction. Let me put it that way. So I'm happy to see that for sure. Like, I'm definitely. I was almost. I don't know if it's the right word, but the word that comes to mind is I was really. I was okay.
You were what?
Relieved.
Okay,
Relieved.
good.
Yeah. So.
I just have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Baroness is a total smoke show.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you navigate that and like keep your head above your neck? Because she's not gonna take that kind of stuff. So how do you work with Baroness and not like stare at her ass?
But she be fucking though.
I know, but not the. I mean, I would never be top level Joe, right? What I'm saying is like she's getting it on, but not with just anybody. You know what I mean? So how do you be like in the same room with Baroness and just like not? You know what I mean?
Well, they're in the room with CoverGirl. I mean, CoverGirl's whole idea is supermodel turned.
Yeah, but there's
special
something
ops.
about Baroness with those glasses, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's not gonna take any shit.
It's a little weird having Baroness as a founding member of G.I. Joe, right? Like, I mean, again, I'm not mad at it.
I think it's kind of cool.
But I do wonder how quickly,
How long,
they're
yeah.
going to turn her. Like, are they going to eventually make her?
Yeah, she's out for herself. So yeah, as soon as the better.
Yeah.
I think Distro's got a girlfriend now, so I mean, unless
He does. He's got a blondie.
then,
He's got a crazy blondie, almost like Harley Quinn type, like
Yeah,
crazy blondie.
I don't know if I like
I guess
that.
she hangs out with the Dreadnoks, but yeah,
And I like that they're playing up Cobra Law right from jump, which we knew from the Cobra
Yeah.
Commander miniseries. But
Sure.
like they're fucking around with Cobra Law, and because it's Energon universe, they're already deeply embedded in the Transformers cross pollination, right? Because all the laser cannons and the laser weapons that we are so familiar with from the cartoon back in the 80s are all explained now by being powered by Energon, which I just love, right? It makes so much sense, but it's great. It's a great way to tie everything together. And like there's just a lot to like. I think just I was a little taken aback in the fact that the relatively small team that made up G.I. Joe at the start was half characters that I really didn't have any kind of affinity for.
Right.
Like new character. I was just like, okay, like because I love getting the band together. For me, like the perfect is You take some of the core members of a team, you sprinkle in one or two completely new members. I like that dynamic. I felt like with Joe, it was a little skewed toward the like, well, I don't really care about these characters. Where are my characters? But we're getting there now. I think we're getting there.
Yeah. I don't know if I like the fact that there's like 16 million one-shots coming out.
No, see, I like that. I like that because they're not like dropping a bunch of more minis on you. I like 4 GI Joe books in a month, which are like ongoing, which you're gonna be like, oh, I don't, like I'm not, because I think we've seen that happen so many times with licensed properties, and what happens? Most people just give up the whole thing entirely. They're like, all right, I'm out. Like I'm not gonna read 4 GI Joe books. So like
a lot of one-shots.
I like, but it's 5 one-shots, so like it's
it's a trade paperback. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm with it. I like the creative teams. I'm with that. I think that's cool. And I think Transformers continues to be great. But I talked about that last week. So,
yeah, for real.
Yeah, and we'll talk about So, and I got to catch up on Void Rivals. I'm like 5 issues behind now.
It's still good. Still good. Yeah.
I
don't think they could have handed it.
It's not good.
Right. I don't think they could have handled it any better, to be honest. I think they did it was an atypical way to roll it out, but I thought in hindsight, yeah, they did a really good job.
And I think, and I don't want to, this is going to probably come off as like condescending, and I don't mean it that way, but I think Tom Riley's getting like really good. Like he was good from the start, but I feel like he's starting to
leveling up.
Right, he's definitely starting to feel more comfortable with the visual language and I think he's taking ownership of it. Like this is his book, man. Like you paint, like you're creating the landscape, dude. Like have at it. Like
right.
The rules are only your mind is your imagination is the only gating factor here. So however you want to define it, you define it. I feel like he's starting to. Yeah, but I'm saying like I feel like he's the last issue and then this issue. I feel like okay, he's starting. I think like get a internal confidence in the visual language of that he's going to be creating.
I feel like I feel like maybe Clutch could be his favorite character. There seems to be a lot of love,
which is totally random, right? Like he just drives a
on
Jeep.
that character.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a Jeep driver and he's Duke's best friend. But
I find it funny that you're just talking about random GI Joe characters when some of your favorites are like top of the rando list. Like
yes, no,
dude,
wait, hold
they
on.
look cool, but they're
like dude with a parrot. Like okay. Like I love Shipwreck. He's got that parrot
Shipwreck's
and
not
stuff.
in this. Shipwreck's not in this.
Well, for good reason. The dude's
no, he'll be in it. Relax.
Okay.
fucking Wild Bill is the helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Quick kick, respect.
Like I would expect to see Roadblock and CoverGirl and Duke. Like but once you get into the sticks with the characters, I have no idea who they are.
But the characters you're making fun of right now are core characters too. Like there are
Roadblock's a core character.
Yeah, for sure.
Or not? Roadblock is Shipwreck.
Oh, absolutely. What?
Yeah.
Shipwreck. Oh, yeah. Of course, absolutely. Yeah. Shipwreck. No, 100%. Like I'm not just saying. Like he absolutely he was like in the cartoon more than almost anybody else. Like for sure. Like other than like Snake Eyes and Scar and Duke.
I just think that animators wanted to draw a parrot.
I think they didn't want to because that parrot was probably hard.
Yeah, parrots are rough.
not
horse rough.
But they wanted to hit.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. I mean, core characters to me are Snake Eyes. I'm just going to go Snake Eyes, Duke, Scarlet, Flint, Stalker, Lady J, Roadblock, Shipwreck, Gung Ho,
Chuckles.
No, see, Chuckles is cool because of the IDW comic, right? He was a total fringe character until the IDW.
There you go.
Series. Didn't
know that.
Spirit certainly core, rock and roll. Although he's dead in this already, right? Like, quick kick.
One of the first ones, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, quick kick. That's about it. Like that. From there, you then maybe in the cartoon, Alpine was a core character. They used Alpine. Falcon. Yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, I mean, there were lots of other characters I liked too, but like I feel like and Snow Job, I guess, was probably pretty often featured, right? Like, basically, like the first 4 years of Toys is like what I think has persisted as the main characters.
That was the medic's
better.
name. I'm
Doc.
not blanking on the medic. Thank Jesus Christ. Thank you.
What's his name, Doc?
Yeah,
Christ.
Sawbones.
Poor Larry, right? It's just like that's all I can come up with.
and then on the Cobra side, I mean, it's obviously it's Cobra Commander and Destro and Baroness and Storm Shadow and Zartan and the Dreadnoks and Tomax and Zaymot and Major Blood and Serpentor, I guess. I mean, I always kind of hated.
Yeah, Serpentor and Mindbender I have issues with, but yeah.
Mindbender, kind of corny, but he was definitely core. I mean, he was in there. Beyond that, I mean, in terms of core, because then they had armies, right? Like they had all the they had the Vipers and but I'd say they're the core. I like. I mean, there's lots of others, but I think those are the ones. Like they're the go-tos.
Nice.
So
there you go.
The only I mean, I know, I guess we're supposed to believe him at the end of the 4th issue, but I don't know what the hell happened between Duke's miniseries and sure, okay, you've got to worry about the death of one of your dudes and you were stressing about Clutch until he was able to phone home, but his actions here, first of all, hauling off and wanting to beat the crap out of Risk just because Risk shows up, and then going off.
Like Risk is a perfect example. Like, what the fuck do I care about Risk? I don't know.
Absolutely, no, 100%.
I don't know Risk from Adam. It's like, why are you giving me Risk? In
the first 5 issues of the series.
Yeah.
But I mean, even Stalker's like, Duke just like goes off half-cocked and we're split up and now like we're trying to come at this. So it's like, I don't know what the hell happened to. Well, he was kind of the same way in the miniseries. Duke is irking me, but I have a feeling,
right,
things will get straightened out. But it's just like for somebody who's supposed to be, in charge and running the show, he seems to not want to do that. And it could be a learning thing.
He's a reluctant leader.
Some growth happened. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but no, the 4th issue was top notch. I read 3 and 4, and it was. Nice. Because I realized I got to the end of number 2 and I got to 4 and I was like, wait, I'm missing something here. So I realized it and caught up and it's good.
Nice.
I'm just glad Jason's happy with it. Now, I'm glad you're happy with it, but the one that should be happy with it, I'm glad Jason's happy with it because, like, I think it would be a broken planet if the new G.I. Joe book didn't click with Jason.
Well, I mean, listen, as we've talked about, though, I mean, there have been a lot of G.I. Joe comics that weren't good. I mean,
right, but this is a cut above. Like, this is G.I. Joe at Image, with Transformers and
right.
It's something. Yeah. It's something special.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Yeah, no argument at all.
Right. You know who you're not going to get an argument from?
CheapGraphicNovels.com.
This is true. CheapGraphicNovels.com. If you want your OGNs, your trade paperbacks, your manga, your omnibus editions, all that stuff at rock bottom prices. And if you're a first time user, you can get free shipping on your second order. It's crazy. Go to CheapGraphicNovels.com. Also, please leave us a review wherever you read this. Wherever you listen to this. If it's a star system or you actually have to type stuff, we would appreciate a review. It would do us a lot of good with that stupid algorithm that everybody prays to. So yes, please leave us a review. And last but not least, the Patreon. Patreon.com/11 o'clock comics. $5 gets you a bonus episode, book of the month. And extra, super special behind the scenes garbage hours of behind the scenes garbage that people seem to like to listen to. And $10 gets you that and access to the Slack. It's crazy. Communal. It's family. It's all that stuff. Patreon.com/11 o'clock comics. In your travels, I read volume 10 of Dandadan. And I do not hesitate to say that Dandadan is probably the greatest thing on the planet. Not just comics. Dandadan is the best thing available to anyone on the planet. Dap, I was squealing because I almost got my scene. That scene that I need to see. There's a fire inside me for this scene. I need to experience it, and we kind of sort of got it, but it wasn't real because it wasn't the voice. It wasn't the words of Okarun. It was the words of the Reiko Kashima. And you know what I'm talking about when Momo's in the bed and she can't leave the room after after 10 because she fucked up and used the spell, and now it's going to be 100 times or 10 times harder to dispatch this yokai, and the yokai takes the voice of Okarun from outside, and he tells her he loves her, and my heart friggin' broke.
Yep.
My heart broke. And it's like, I need to see that scene. And then, you know what's going to happen? Because Okarun said to Vamola, I can't, I'm in love with Miss Momo, Vamola's going to repeat that to Momo at a very opportune time. We're going to get the scene. We're going to get it. But it fucking was not in this issue. And I need to see it. Like, I need that scene. I think, wow, this book is just ridiculous. It is. There's so much heart in Dandadan. Of course, it's written and drawn by Yukinobu Tatsu. And the level of destruction in this book, this is, Dap asked me what chapter it goes up to, and I had to tell him 85, because that's what it does go up to. The level of destruction is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's stupid.
There are aliens that aren't working with the Serpoans or whatever, but they're stealing their tech, and one is a doggone idol. A doggone idol, like, stop. Where is Tatsu getting this from? One of them is a xenomorph that does karate, like a xenomorph from Alien, stripped down, that does karate. It's so stupid, but it's beautiful and brilliant. And you have the guy that was an internet meme, the guy with the big fucking eyebrows. Have you seen this man that supposedly many people saw this guy in their dreams and became an internet meme? There's that guy in this book. What? Like, what is happening? And they're clones of the Serpoans or something, and they're only dispatched by putting irons on both sides of their faces, and then they turn back to Serpoans. But then it's like, it's weird. It's just weird, but it's amazing. There's a Cthulhu edge to it with these aliens that who knows where they're from, and Gigi struggling with the evil eye, but he lets it out and he can't fight anybody because he can only fight Okarun, but in this case it's okay if he fights this other thing, and it's so convoluted and so complex, but it makes sense in the big scheme of things, doesn't it, Dap?
100%. No, dude, and this was something that I've been meaning to ask because either I'm completely oblivious or because Chainsaw Man, there's a lot of destruction in there too. So I was curious if the zero gravity or the zero space where they're fighting the aliens or the demons or whoever appears to them, the destruction all happens there. Is that?
I don't know if it happens.
I'm completely ignorant to this.
No, I think it happens in the real world.
Is that it?
Doesn't it?
No. This is all. This is all as soon as, because they mentioned it a couple of times that like it's when the whole, like, especially when the series started and they were at the school and water started showing up, and then
that part. But like when the whole acrobatic Silky arc. Like that happened in the real world. That place was fucking
right.
trashed.
Because that was in a warehouse. That was just, but I mean, like, as far as like a whole city when the aliens are showing up.
Oh, like when Vamola came and she, right.
Yes. Is that a common trope in manga, or is that specific just to this, or does that happen?
No, it's to this. Yeah, no, that doesn't.
Okay.
Because I don't even consider that. I mean, they're just fucking ripping shit up. And
yes, destroying whole buildings and whatnot. And obviously, there's no casualties because nobody else is there. But it's still, and obviously, I guess if you die in this area, then yeah, you're there for good.
And
but,
Momo in the maid, like, stop, just stop.
Yes. Oh, at the tea house.
I don't need to see that.
The reason I had to ask because I have to. I obviously have to be very careful because I know.
Yeah, I'm not. No, right.
On the Shonen Jump app, I'm waiting for chapter 183 in a couple of days.
Oh, stop! Why would you do that? No, that's way ahead.
So that's why I always have to be careful.
Things.
That's why. And I'm not saying anything, but yes, I know things. But yes, I just I have to when I know if I know ahead of time which volume. So now you're going to be reading volume 11 when that comes out. So I'll know that that's going to be like the next dozen or so chapters, and I'll go back to the app and refresh. So this way, when we talk about that, I'm but
yeah. It's just it's so captivating on so many levels. Like every time Seiko enters the panel, I'm just like. Bleh.
Oh yeah,
yeah, she's ridiculous, just absolutely ridiculous. And Tatsu is a master of positioning legs to obscure the nasty bits that he doesn't want to show you. Like this book is explicit content, but I can't for the life of me find what the explicit content is. Like there's maybe a foul word here or there. Like one of the characters will say shit or something, but there's really, it's not explicit at all, but it has an explicit tag on it. And I don't get it. And fucking Kinta with his pure beef, like just, I can't. It's such a joy, this book. Jason, please get up to snuff on Dandadan. It is pure, unbridled joy. It's like injecting comics. You're mainlining comics when you read Dandadan.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Hands down, it is one of the best.
But yeah, the
I
fucking.
have to wait for the second series of the Netflix show. You know.
Oh yeah. But why, like, to use a Dogon idol as an alien? Like, not many people are gonna.
Cute.
They're not gonna click with that. But it's like, those that do, it's like there's so many levels to this.
And the super hot grandma out of nowhere. Like,
Seiko. But the thing, like. Most of the top characters are possessed. Isn't that weird? Like Okarun's possessed, Ira's possessed, Gigi's possessed, Vamola's got the alter ego kaiju thing. Like so, they're infused with the power of these yokai. Like it's bizarre. And the ball that powers Vamola's like costume or her suit. Human karma? How does that work? And how is it extracted? Is it like negative or positive? Like, is that a good thing that she has a ball of human karma, or is it a bad thing? Because how was it obtained? Did it cause the deaths of the people that fueled the ball? Like, I don't know. But it's nuts. It's nuts. And if the Avengers comic, the current Avengers comic, like a big battle scene looked like this, I'd be buying an Avengers comic because these battles are just stupid. There's just shit flying all over the place. I can't. Dandadan, it is perfect comics. Absolutely perfect comics. We're spoiled that we're getting this.
Yeah, it's true. You're not wrong. In your travels, I'm not going to go too heavy on this just because we're only not even at the halfway mark really, but Batman and Robin Year One, chapters 4 and 5, issues 4 and 5. There's a little bit of there's some drama at the house because Dick is going to school, but unfortunately, he lasted 1 hour on his first day of school, and apparently he says it was the teacher's fault. So Bruce has to show up at the school to get him, and then and Dick's trying to explain that it was the teacher, and Bruce is cutting him off. Like, you didn't even make it out of homeroom. You were there for 1 hour. And all Dick is just saying that it's her fault. She called the class a circus. And Bruce is like, well, and you objected loudly. And he goes, yeah, but she used it as a slur. And how was I supposed to take that? And Bruce is like, circus is an observation. It's not a slur. He says the man who never lived in one. And Bruce just has this look on his face.
Okay.
So Bruce is sitting there, his head's down, and this was awesome because this whole page, Bruce says, I managed to wane the principal into keeping your tantrum off the record this one time. And after a few minutes have passed, Alfred just whispers, did you just use wane as a verb? And Bruce is just like, just drive. And there's Gordon seems to have a bit of a chip on his shoulder because he's got the bat signal lit up and he's just like all harumphing all across the roof, and he's like, just take your time, you're not the only one who has criminals to catch or anything. But Batman and Robin show up, and Robin's like, hey, don't despair, Commissioner. And he's like, we're on the case, and we're Batman and Robin here to rescue. And Gordon's like, do you see an R on this thing? And I'm like, bro, what the, like, why is everybody giving this poor little boy? But we, Gordon's also keeping something a little close to the vest. He's not divulging all the information he should to Batman, but that's his own hang up. But there's a pretty decent. There's a short fight between Batman and Clayface as Batman gets closer to trying to unravel this mystery. He does confront in the shadows Grimaldi, the big bad from Florida, who's trying to manipulate things and take over Gotham. But Batman let him know that he's watching him, and he knows all about his dishonorable discharge and how he doesn't belong in Gotham and this, that, and the other. And all while Robin decides to go off on his own to do his own little bit of crime fighting, and that kind of doesn't go the way he wants, and leading us to the next issue. But I mean, again, Mark Waid's writing a hell of a story. Chris Samnee is drawing a hell of a comic. This is absolutely a fantastic series. It's fun when it's supposed to be. There's some tension and some drama. Alfred is, I mean, my man is just his poor heart. I don't know how he's gonna be able to take much more of this, but I mean, between covering for, you got the social worker coming over to make sure that Dick is in good hands in this house, and he when she's there and Alfred is trying to like just put up the facade that this is a normal home, nothing crazy going on here, and Dick is kind of just being a kid and butting heads. I have a feeling that Alfred's going to give him the kind of talking to that he's from, not tough love or anything, but we're going to see that relationship kind of grow, I think, a bit before the series is over. But it's a blast. Cannot wait for the collected edition. This is definitely a double dip worthy series. Yeah, I can't gush enough about it. In Your Travels, Batman and Robin, Year 1, by Waid and Samnee, and published by DC Comics.
Nice. In Your Travels, two things, because one is another watch, and that is Holden and I were, like many of you, huge fans of the Dandadan anime. It was great. And right after that wrapped up, Netflix dropped another anime on us, and that was Sakamoto Days. So we checked that out completely sight unseen. I had no idea what the manga that it was based on was about, but we figured let's jump in and give it a try, and it's fucking great. Vince, have you read Sakamoto Days? Pardon?
No.
It is a knockdown, drag-out assassin story. The star is this chubby, middle-aged dude who's got owns a convenience store, and he's got a wife and a cute little kid, and he lives a seemingly mundane life, but he used to be the alpha badass hitman, the top dude. absolutely untouchable, and killed hundreds and hundreds of people, and he's gone and he's given all that up to live this life with wife and kid. But as just like with John Wick, you can never really leave, right? Like, and so his old crew, his old agency he worked for, is coming for him, and he fucking, despite being a fat old dude, still got them skills, and he whoops that ass, and it's just a blast. And then two younger hitmen, well, one hitman, one hit woman, who come after him, at least kind of, or he encounters rather, not necessarily come after him, end up working with him as his sidekicks. So there's kind of a little bit of a team, and all the while, his wife has always sworn that she would leave him if he ever went back to being a assassin. So they got to there's a comedic element. They got to keep hiding all of their fighting and killing from her. But it's super fun, man. And it's just like, there are dozens and dozens of murders in each episode. It is just like nonstop shooting and sword fighting, and it's just crazy. It's crazy. And really, really great animation. Super fun on Netflix, called Sakamoto Days. So fun, much fun, in fact, that I've ordered the first 3 volumes of manga to read.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, there are 20 volumes of the manga. It's still ongoing. It started in 2020. It's a creator of the series is Yuto Suzuki. It is published through Viz. Like I said, there are 20 volumes to date. I don't know if they're all available in English yet, but there have been 20 tankobon so far. So Sakamoto Days, check it out. And then on the comics front, I want to do this in your travels because we've talked about this book a lot in the last few months, so I didn't want to go deep on it. But read the 6th issue of The Power of Fantasy. I continue to adore this book. Again, we've talked about it recently, so I don't need to go too far into it. I will say that I think we've all collectively been fans of Caspar Wingard much of his career. We've talked about a good chunk, or if not all, of the books that he's done here in the U.S. Over his career. But he's never looked better. I think he is just on another level in this book. It's so pristinely clean and dynamic, and I just think Kieran Gillen is an incredible writer. And this book is just perfection. So really, really continue to enjoy this book, and one of the few books that I just have to read issue to issue. I can't wait for it. So if you haven't checked it out yet, now's a good time, because the first arc just wrapped up. So check out The Power of Fantasy, and yeah, that's it.
Nice. There you go.
Added Sakamoto Days to the Shonen Jump favorite list, so I'll start.
It's so fun, dude. The cartoon is fun as hell.
I'll add it to the list.
Just be killing, and of course, just because it's like, and then each assassin that comes after him is like, got some ridiculous trope, Like there's the janitor assassin. There's like this is like, and he uses janitorial tools. It's just fun. Like it's just it's just great. And dude, because he's fat, but he's not supposed, because he's such a badass assassin that he has to work really hard at being fat. So he eats nonstop. He just loves food. He eats fucking half the episode is about all the different kinds of food that he. And his wife's a dope ass cook. And they really, really turn food almost into porn on the show. It's he's so excited by the food. It's great.
Excellent. I'll have to check it out. As soon as I watch the rest of Arcane, I'll watch that.
Oh yeah, I'll watch Arcane first. Yeah.
Hey everybody, thank you for being here with us. We hope you come back. In the meantime, get yourself to a comic book shop or an online retailer, anywhere that they sell comics, maybe cheapgraphicnovels.com. Buy some stuff, read them, talk about them. It's just so much fun when you have an ear to bend about your favorite comics, and that's why we do what we do. So in the meantime, we love you, and say goodnight.
If you take 3 glasses of water and put food coloring in them, you have many different colors, but it's still the same old water. Make the connection, and now back to our video.
Yeah.
It's a great video.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah. David.
Night.
I keep it running. Why not? Learn something. So different. Like they were so different for the time.
Yeah.
I think this video is testament to that, where you have the guys with the bucket hats and the chains and the sneakers and doing the cross arm thing, and De La's just like, yeah, whatever.
Native Tongues, baby. I mean,
yeah,
Native Tongues was my favorite collection of rappers at the time, for sure.
Yeah. What's your favorite De La album? I mean, is it
Maybe
obvious?
Nine Rising.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah. I mean,
I like them all.
Actually, yeah, I was going to say I like them all. I mean, I really do love their entire catalog. But yeah, but I mean, I have to say, but I mean, Stakes is High, Blue Mind State. I mean,
yeah, Stakes is High is
they're all
great. They're all really wonderful.
Mm-hmm. De La Soul's Dead's great. Prince Paul. All, yeah. Listen, I mean, they're phenomenal.
Yep. What the hell is
They're
that?
shoveling or scraping.
Yeah, it sounds like they're making the pine
Holy
boxes for the dead.
Damn.
Bring out your dead. Hi, everybody. We love you so much. Please come back, because we need you. We do. Yes. Love you. Bye.
That's it for that one.